Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms. Welcome back to the channel here on YouTube.com. It is Saturday, June 11th, 2020. Welcome to yet another stacked edition of the Lightning Flash Update, the greatest show on earth, the greatest show in the YWC, the greatest show on YouTube, period. Because there ain't no one that does it like DJ Storms does it, ladies and gents. But I would like to thank each and every single one of you for coming back. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it, as per usual. I have been a busy guy. I had a dentist appointment earlier today. I got plenty of content coming over the course of the next week. Next week's actually a busy week. I actually got to take an exam for my online class. I got to get a group project done. I'm going to be working 4 days. And of course, I got 4 videos coming to you next week. I got the rundown for Extreme Rules. That's going to be coming on Wednesday. I got my 3-year anniversary. 3 years of DJ Storms, man. Man, 3 years goes quick. 3 years goes quick. 3 years goes quick when you're a prominent figure in the IWC. But of course, my 3-year anniversary is on July 16th, next Thursday. I got a very special Q&A video. If you have not sent in your questions, please send in your questions. I got a lot of good questions so far. I will be sure to shout you out. I'll be sure to say your name. If you got a social media, I'll shout you out on social media as well. And of course, I'm going to answer your questions in grave detail. So please, if you haven't sent in your questions, send in your questions now. That video is going up on Thursday. On Friday is the rewind for AEW Fight for the Fallen. And then next Saturday, of course, is the Lightning Flash Update. 4 days in a row, 4 solid uploads. I'm going to set a few to premiere, actually. I'll set a couple to premiere, actually. I'll be sending some to premiere. Please, you got to check it out. You got to watch them. Lots of content coming next week before the horror show at Extreme Rules. And yes, unfortunately, we have to say the horror show at Extreme Rules. But regardless of that, on top of that, got a lot of collaborations coming as well. I am planning on collaborating with a couple of people this month. I should have my online class done by July 20th, I believe. So then I'm just going to be focusing on working the brand. It's going to be a very productive summer. Unfortunately, I'm going back to classes on August 24th. They're starting earlier because they want to get that out of the way before the predicted relapse of fucking COVID-19 happens. Toward November, I believe the scheduled relapse is, that's what they're predicting at least. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. Excuse me, just gotta take a little drink. And my signature ice water, nice mug right here. Ernest & Young. Anyway. Few things before we get started here on the Lightning Flash Update. I need you guys to follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. Please go follow me on Twitter there. You'll see why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Follow me on Instagram and Periscope at TheDJStorms. Add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook, that is. All the links are in the description. If you missed the rewind for Fyter Fest Night 1, Great American Bash Night 1, Fyter Fest Night 2, and Great American Bash Night 2. All the links are in the descriptions. Please go check them out. They have been doing great. They're all over 100 views. Actually, the rewind for Great American Bash Night 2 is doing the best out of all of them. That's over 220 views, so you guys have been killing it there. I greatly appreciate it right there. The views have been very consistent. The views have been doing great. I greatly appreciate it. As always, I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys mean the absolute world to me, even though I don't come off like it. Trust me, I come off like a dick. I am, maybe. Just to a certain extent. Maybe just a little bit I am a dick. But regardless, I'm an appreciative dick. Here's what I need you guys to do. If you haven't already done so, we're almost 5 minutes into the video. I need you guys to hit the thumbs up. I don't understand why you haven't, if you're still watching. So I need you guys to hit that thumbs up. If you guys haven't hit that thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up. I need you guys to help me reach my goals. Help me reach at least 30. At least 30. I know it's usually 25, it's 26, 27. I need you guys to help me get to 30. You got the Great American Bash, night number 1. You got that to 30. You got that over 30, actually. Try to see if you can get this to 30. Come on, it's the Lightning Flash Update. It's the most, it's the longest show of my shows that I do. It's the longest show that I have. 2 hours. Now, when you like, you need to comment down below. And when you comment down below, you got to give me your thoughts on the newsrooms and reports in the weekly shows. We got 4 weekly shows to go over, and of course, a shit ton of news and rumors that I got a lot of shit to say on. We're going to get into it in just a bit. So I need you guys to comment down below on your thoughts on the news, rumors, and reports. And on top of that, when you comment down below, you got to hit that subscribe button. I'm a greedy son of a bitch. All I want is more subscribers. All right? So I need you guys to hit the subscribe button. And when you hit that subscribe button, you gotta hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. It's the only time you're gonna see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination. Beautiful quarantine mustache. I just gotta touch it up a bit. Just gotta comb it. There we go. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. So you need to hit the notifications bell. That way you will get all my notifications. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we've heard enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. It's time to get straight into the festivities here on the Lightning Flash Update. We're going to start off with the news, rumors, and reports. I think I'm going to make that a permanent thing now on the Lightning Flash Update. I'm going to start off with the news, rumors, and reports because we got a lot to talk about this week. Now, my first report, according to a report from Wrestling Inc., Bray Wyatt is going to be winning the Wyatt family swamp fight against Braun Strowman. The site stated, and I quote, WWE is apparently going with the 3 faces of Wyatt idea in his feud against Braun Strowman. So far, Firefly Funhouse Wyatt has lost. Eater of Worlds Wyatt will win since it's a non-title match, making him 1-1 against Strowman. The third match will be at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship and is scheduled to be The Fiend versus Strowman in a regular match. The ending of the swamp fight is what will lead into the final chapter of the story. End quote. I expected this. Because if you're going to book a Wyatt family swamp fight between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt has the home field advantage. So realistically, he can't lose. If Braun Strowman was defending the Universal Championship at Extreme Rules, then more likely than not, he would have to win. Because ultimately, what the end game is The Fiend beating Braun Strowman and regaining the title that he should have never lost in February. So, The Fiend is obviously winning the title from Braun Strowman. But right now, Bray Wyatt does not have a case of why he should be challenging for the Universal Championship. He's just there. Because Funhouse Bray Wyatt lost at Money in the Bank. So, it would only make sense, since it's non-title, and since this isn't an actual match, this is just a fucking brawl in a swamp, it would make sense for Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt, to come out victorious. So I expected this. It makes sense. Bray Wyatt gets the win. However he may get the win, he's definitely not going to pin Braun Strowman. There's not going to be pinfalls in a swamp. It's just a brawl in a swamp. So at the end of the day, Bray Wyatt is going to get the victory over Braun Strowman, which is going to set up the Universal Championship match at SummerSlam, and Bray Wyatt's going to get back the title then. My only hope is that it's quick and painless at SummerSlam. No less than, what was it? No less than 30 seconds, I would say. 30 seconds, mandible claw, that's it. Because Braun Strowman, he is undoubtedly one of the worst wrestlers employed by the company. I've said it time and time again. A cinematic match, realistically, is probably the only way you can make a Braun Strowman match enjoyable, unless you're Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, because those two, they've been able to lead Braun Strowman to his best matches in WWE to date. The last good Braun Strowman match was the match with Seth Rollins back at Clash of Champions. Outside of that, I can't remember a decent Braun Strowman match that I have ever seen. And he's been in the ring with Cesaro, he's been in the ring with Sami Zayn, he's been in the ring with Shinsuke Nakamura, and still, he can't give you a decent match. What does that tell you about him? When you're in the ring with three of the best in the world, in those three men, and you still can't put on a decent match. But I expected this. Bray Wyatt's going to win, set up the third matchup at SummerSlam. Moving on to a report from Belt Fan Dan. Belt Fan Dan has an inside scoop on championship titles. He's had eyes on the new United States Championship in December of 2019. Dan tweeted out that WWE had new SmackDown Tag Team titles made up since WrestleMania 35, also a new NXT title belt coming to replace the current design. He states, and I quote, "They've had new SD tags since WM35 they haven't used. NXT belt is being replaced with a larger version of the same design," end quote. Now, I don't really mind this. I really don't mind it in a sense because a new championship design isn't necessarily going to help or hurt the company. It's not going to help or hurt the product. The one thing that I'm going to say about this, and I've said this time and time again when it comes to reports like this, I do not like the fact that WWE's head is in the wrong areas when it comes to what they need to change. Whether it's butchering names, or changing a show, or changing a design of a championship, or moving one superstar from one brand to another, their head is always in the wrong place when it comes to the entire company as a whole, what they need to change. They're changing names because they don't like the names of certain superstars. They're leaving superstars in the back because they don't see anything in them. They're changing championship designs to evolve with the times, or they've had the championship design for God knows how long. Fine, but at the end of the day, what is that going to do? How is that going to make the product any better? The main issue with the WWE is that they need to change their build, their booking, and their production tactics of their shows. That's the main issue. Their head is always in the wrong place when it comes to what they need to change. Meanwhile, you take a look at Raw and SmackDown, and the same thing is happening every single week. No change whatsoever, and it only proves to you that Vince McMahon is a fucking mental case, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now there's reports of Brock Lesnar possibly coming back and facing Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. I saw that all over Twitter. At the end of the day, WWE needs to get their priorities straight. New championships, fine, but at the end of the day, if you're not building, booking, and producing your superstars, your storylines, your feuds, your matches, and your shows correctly, ultimately, what good is a new championship going to do? That's what I'm going to say. End of conversation as far as that topic goes. WWE has their heads in the wrong places when it comes to what they need to change. Moving on to a report from F4W Online. As you can see by the thumbnail, Rey Mysterio's contract has reportedly expired, according to F4W Online, and he is currently working without one. It was reported that Rey asked for a raise, and the company didn't give it to him because of the pandemic situations. They are currently working out a new deal as we speak. Now, this was reported about a week ago, I believe on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not completely sure if they're still working out a deal. I am not sure if it's been finalized. For all we know, it could be finalized, and the dirt sheets just haven't leaked it. I don't really know what is to come, and I don't really want to say the stereotypical thing that a lot of people have said, but it is really a possibility that if no deal has been worked out, then Rey Mysterio could be gone. And with the fact that they booked Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules, which I'll talk about when we get to the Raw review, it could very well seem as though that's it for Rey Mysterio, and he could be going off to All Elite Wrestling. It's a possibility. I don't want to say it's a definite, because I don't really know what's to come. We'll have to see what happens at Extreme Rules. But at the end of the day, it is very suspicious, in a sense. Now, I'm not sure if Rey Mysterio is going to get a raise from Tony Khan, because they did say that all superstars are getting paid equally. And Tony Khan, he's been very, very cautious with how he's been handling everything from the pandemic to the speaking out movement to bringing in new superstars like Matt Hardy and Brody Lee and hiring superstars like Ricky Starks, people like that. He's been very, very careful, and he's been doing a very good job at remaining in the right area when it comes to all these scenarios. And in a sense, you have to respect him for that. He's giving superstars work. He's giving guys like Lee Johnson and Danny Jordan and Sean Dean and Serpentico. He's giving all of them work during the pandemic. So again, you have to respect him in that regard. So I'm not sure if Rey Mysterio is actually going to get a raise if he comes to All Elite Wrestling. I don't think he is. Could he still be going to All Elite Wrestling? It's a possibility. To be quite honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Hardy is headed in that direction as well. We'll see what happens, but I do have my theories as far as where this is going. We'll see how it plays out, and this actually could be one of the reasons why they booked Rollins and Rey Mysterio at Extreme Rules, the Horror Show, which we'll talk about later. This report actually broke, I believe it was either yesterday or Thursday. According to Pro Wrestling Unlimited, WWE is looking to hold a network special on August 30th, the week after SummerSlam. They are either looking to extend SummerSlam to a second week or use it for another all-women's pay-per-view Evolution. This certainly wouldn't be surprising, as we've seen multiple storylines teased in the past few weeks. Yeah, multiple storylines, but they're certainly not good storylines. Another Evolution pay-per-view, really? And the worst part is, I saw some people supporting this, especially after that embarrassment of a karaoke showdown that we saw on SmackDown last night. I'm going to tell you the same thing that I ranted on in an episode of the LFU back in January. I had a legendary rant back in January where Becky Lynch cried out sexism, and everyone saying, oh, women shouldn't main event anymore. Crying out sexism, trying to pull the sexism card. I stated there's 3 things as it relates to the women's division that WWE has not gotten down. And I said the same thing about the tag team championship situation with new championships coming in. It all boils down to the build, the booking, and the production. And those 3 things are the worst it's ever been as far as the women's division goes. Evolution number 1 wasn't even done because WWE cares about women's wrestling. WWE's made it clear that they don't care about women's wrestling. WWE did that because the women weren't allowed in Saudi Arabia. And everyone bitched and complained. Now they're allowed in Saudi Arabia. So now WWE, in their mind, they have no reason to do another all-women's pay-per-view. They don't care about women's wrestling. If they cared about women's wrestling, then people like Ruby Riott and people like Shayna Baszler and people like Bianca Belair, they would be getting opportunities. But Ruby Riott, she's 0-12. Shayna Baszler hasn't been seen in 2 months. Bianca Belair hasn't been seen in 3 months. Bianca Belair, she came up after WrestleMania. She has not been used since April. Shayna Baszler has been used since the beginning of May. Ruby Riott, losing and losing and losing and losing. Liv Morgan, she's off television for 3 weeks. She comes back. She loses to the Iconics. The Iconics are in championship matches every other fucking week. Karaoke showdowns. The women's division on the main roster, outside of Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Naomi, specifically on SmackDown, is terrible. And I feel so bad for Naomi, and I got a lot of shit to say about Naomi when we get to the SmackDown portion of the Lightning Flash update. The NXT Women's Division, that's great in its own right, minus that 9-week reign from Charlotte Flair as NXT Women's Champion. Now, the division needs to recover from that, and I do think that Io Shirai and Tegan Nox are going to do the NXT Women's Championship very, very well. I think they're going to put on a great match. I can't wait to see that match. But you take a look at the build, booking, and production of the women's division outside of Charlotte Flair's shitty reign as NXT Women's Champion, and they've been doing some great stuff this year. Take a look at the NXT UK Women's Division, a great triple threat match with Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, and Toni Storm. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair putting on a very good match at TakeOver Portland. That's the type of shit that I want to see out of the women. That's women's wrestling. What we're getting on the main roster is not women's wrestling. The only people that are supporting the idea of another evolution is the fucking feminists, the social justice warriors, and the stans with wrestlers as their avies that think everything is sunshine and rainbows. The only people that actually thought that Evolution 1 was the best pay-per-view of 2018 are the fucking idiots that sat in the crowd. And they're like, ooh, oh yeah, oh my god, this is the best pay-per-view of 2018. Idiots you are. All of you. That show, outside of Toni Storm and Io Shirai, Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, and Becky and Charlotte, that show was a complete waste of time. The opening match was a standard house show tag team match. Nia Jax won the fucking Battle Royal. And then we had a six-woman tag that we've seen 30 different other times scattered throughout the course of 2018. Whether you want to admit it or not, this is factual information. The tag team match was no different than what we've seen. It wasn't a bad match, but at the end of the day, it was no different than what we've seen 50 different other times scattered throughout 2018. And then we had one of the worst matches in women's wrestling history, period, with Nikki Bella getting in 15 minutes of offense on Ronda Rousey, of all people. When a Kim Kardashian wannabe gets that much offense in on Ronda Rousey, that's it. I'm done. I'm not even invested in you anymore. I was not even invested in Ronda Rousey at that point in time. And she was a great women's wrestler. I was actually a fan of Ronda Rousey. Last thing I need is to see Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross in another women's tag team championship match. And you know how much it pains me to say that about Nikki Cross? Because I love Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is a damn good professional wrestler. And if you give her the opportunity, she can put on a damn good match. But you called her up to the main roster. You got rid of this psycho Scottish girl gimmick, and you paired her with Alexa Bliss to sit in poofy chairs, drink coffee, and she's pretty much second fiddle to Alexa Bliss. I really don't understand what you want me to say. Nikki Cross in this current character is terrible, and if you support this current character of Nikki Cross, I have absolutely no respect for you whatsoever. You need to put yourself down for immediate brain surgery, because you're dangerously fucking stupid. Alexa Bliss, she's a disease to the women's division. Lacey Evans, Tamina, Dana Brooke, AIDS. All of them, AIDS. Last thing we need is Nia Jax winning another battle royal. Thank God she's been off of television. Charlotte Flair's rumored to come back at the end of August. Oh, you want to see her in another Raw Women's Championship match with Asuka? She's going to beat Asuka at Evolution on that network special? Why not build it over the course of the next few months and actually make it meaningful? Why don't you actually give us storylines with women that are actually deserving of being in those types of storylines, like Baszler, like Ruby, like Bianca? Telling me that you want another Evolution pay-per-view after everything that has happened. The women's division on Raw and SmackDown sucks. Indisputable fact, whether you want to admit it or not. 22 minutes in, I'm fucking sweating. I need a drink. There's going to be a lot of yelling and a lot of screaming. I don't care. I'm going to blow my voice out again. I will fucking blow my voice out again. I don't give a shit. Moving on to the next report. So I'm sick and tired of fucking talking about Evolution when I got these fucking feminists, these social justice warriors, these people trying to tell me that, oh, Evolution 2 is a great idea. I'm going to have gray hair everywhere. This entire, my facial hair is going to be gray by the time I'm 25. According to Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Newsletter, WWE is taping Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins in advance. Now, this is actually a ridiculous storyline. Not a storyline, a ridiculous report, excuse me. They are planning on using CGI effects to achieve an eyeball getting ripped out. Yes, you heard me correctly. He stated, and I quote, "The idea is to do a taped match and use some form of CGI effects to simulate an eye being pulled out as the finish. I repeat, the idea is to do a taped match and use some form of CGI effects to simulate an eye being pulled out as the finish." End quote. You realize how ridiculous that sounds? You realize how cheesy that sounds? And I really don't want to hear anyone trying to compare this to anything. There are certain levels and limitations on the suspension of disbelief. This is just fucking ridiculous. You're telling me that we are going to see, simulation or not, CGI or not, we're going to see either Rollins or Rey Mysterio physically hold their opponent's eyeball in the palm of their hand to end the match. We're literally going to watch Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins, literally for 20 minutes, try and rip the other man's eye out. I don't want to say we're on the cusp of watching one of the worst matches of the year, one of the worst produced matches of the year, but we very well could be. And you know how hard it is for me to say that when you got Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins in the ring, and how great they are? I don't want to, I actually saw some people trying to compare this to The Undertaker's CGI effects with the lightning. Are you fucking serious? You're trying, you automatically lost the argument right there. You do not get to fucking speak. You do not get to compare one of the greatest characters and the most important character in the business's history. You do not get to compare the most important character in the business's history to one man ripping another man's eyeball out. This isn't 1999, this isn't 2006 or 2007, this is 2020. With everything going on in the world, not just with the pandemic, with these movements, with all the riots and protests and all this shit happening in the world, all this negative shit happening in the world, do you honestly think that people want to see, CGI or not, someone rip someone's eyeball out? An act of violence like that? You really think that's a good idea with everything going on in the world? I don't think so. And to be quite honest with you, regardless of whether this would be going on in the world or not, whatever was going on in the world, regardless of that, they shouldn't even be doing this to begin with. And don't try and get on me for, oh, you're complaining that WWE is thinking outside the box, you're still going on and on and on. Yeah, when they think outside the box, I have no problem with thinking outside the box, but the majority of the time when WWE thinks outside the box, they always come up with the cheesiest shit ever. This is cheesy. This is cheesy, it's ridiculous, it's not believable. Not in 2020. Especially in the day and age that we're living in. So we're literally going to watch, CGI or not, someone's going to lose an eyeball and someone's going to come out with an eye patch the next night, or Rey Mysterio could very well leave. Ridiculous. I got a report from Cultaholic reader Jason H., and he noted that Mustafa Ali has quietly been moved back to the Blue brand. He was currently listed on the SmackDown Live roster, so that didn't really take too long for Mustafa Ali to be moved back. And to be quite honest with you, the reason why they probably moved him back is because they probably saw that they didn't have any plans for him. He didn't really fit into anything. To be quite honest, it's better that he's on SmackDown because I've said it once and I'll say it again. The upper mid-card to main event scene on SmackDown sucks. There's literally no one. Outside of AJ, Riddle, and Bray Wyatt, who is there? Daniel Bryan's going to be out for however long because more likely than not, he either wants to care for his wife, who is pregnant, or probably tested positive. Or he probably just wants to stay home because of the company's negligence, because of their shitty protocol for COVID. So Daniel Bryan's out of the picture. Outside of those three men, who do you have? You have Baron Corbin in every other main event segment on SmackDown. He's probably going into a fucking feud with Riddle. You have Braun Strowman as Universal Champion. Who else do you have? Literally, who else do you have? So you need someone in the upper mid-card to main event scene. Mustafa Ali could actually be a solid player there. He's better off on SmackDown. You already have the talent on Monday Night Raw. You're just not utilizing them correctly. We'll see where he goes, but I don't have any faith that WWE is actually going to continue to book him correctly. Moving on. According to a report from Ringside News, Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink, if you remember those guys, were dropped from TV because they were Paul Heyman projects. Shocker. Vince McMahon wanting to undo everything that Paul Heyman did. Website stated, and I quote, Ringside News has learned that Vink and Thorne were dropped from their television angle because they were Paul Heyman projects. Vince McMahon's edict to use established superstars mean Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne didn't fit his new system. Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink are still healthy and able to wrestle. Vince McMahon just suddenly had nothing for them following Paul Heyman's exit. End quote. This doesn't surprise me whatsoever. It really doesn't surprise me. Now, Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink, they may have been very standard, they may have been very basic, but at the end of the day, This is just a sign of things to come. I know some people are probably going to say, oh, why do you care about Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink? No one really cares about them. Look, that may be the case, but at the end of the day, they may be standard, they may be basic, they may be green. But at the end of the day, if they were Paul Heyman projects, what do you think Vince McMahon's going to do to Apollo Crews? What do you think he's going to do to Drew McIntyre? What do you think he's going to do to Angel Garza and Andrade? What do you think he's going to do to them? Do you really think that... What do you think he's going to do to Asuka? What do you think he's going to do to Aleister Black? Do you really think that just because he's taking away some people that are green and some people that don't really add anything to the show yet, do you really think that just because he took away Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink, that means it's an automatic improvement? Do you really think that doesn't mean anything? They don't mean anything right now because they're not in a prime position. But if they were Paul Heyman projects, you know for a fact that he's going to undo more Paul Heyman projects. I wouldn't even be surprised if Drew McIntyre loses the WWE Championship back to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. This is bad news, whether you want to admit it or not. My final report before we get into the weekly shows, speaking to Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated, Triple H gave his reason as to why NXT decided to run a 2-week Great American Bash special. And of course, get ready for some political bullshit. He stated, and I quote, "It absolutely is part of healthy competition. Anyone that thinks it isn't, to a degree, is being naive to the situation." No, we're not being naive to the situation. You're being naive to the situation that AEW is doing their thing, and your father-in-law is clearly concerned, which is why he put NXT on the USA Network. Don't give me the bullshit. I don't want to hear anyone give me the bullshit that, oh, it was already on USA, or it was already on Wednesdays. Who cares if it was already on Wednesdays? It was on the network. It wasn't on cable television. If they would have gone on Monday or Friday, then All Elite Wrestling would have been at fault. But they didn't. They go on Wednesdays. They went on Wednesdays simply because of the fact that they wanted their own day, separate from Mondays and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays were the big ones to compete with. NXT did not receive any love at all from any main roster shows outside of a little promotion at the bottom of your screen the week of a takeover. And then almost every single NXT call-up has been treated like shit. Now all of a sudden NXT is getting all this traction, all this mainstream attention. They're moving to USA Network, and NXT won the Survivor Series. You're having NXT superstars get called up to Raw and SmackDown, gaining more traction for NXT. Then you're having main roster superstars appear on NXT. You're having all these great things happen for NXT. NXT's getting all this attention, and you expect us to believe that it's not because All Elite Wrestling's a thing? He went on to say that you saw that back in the day when Clash of Champions was counter-programming to WWE's WrestleMania 4 in 1998, at some point, it can't drive your booking decisions. Of course, WWE is going to mention Clash of Champions and WCW because they own the rights to WCW, but they're not going to openly admit that they're trying to counter-program All Elite Wrestling because they're concerned and they're afraid. If All Elite Wrestling wasn't a thing, NXT would still be on the WWE Network at 1 hour. On top of that, if NXT was not on USA Network, All Elite Wrestling would be over 1 million every single week, and they would be peaking Raw and SmackDown ratings by now. Vince McMahon clearly put NXT on the network simply to drive people away from All Elite Wrestling, and that way drive viewers to NXT, so that way All Elite Wrestling would suffer because, again, he does not want anyone to succeed unless it's under his watchful eye. He doesn't even realize that monopolizing the industry is only going to hurt him in the long run. Triple H says, obviously there are counter-programming decisions, but I can tell you exactly how this came about. Almost all of these storylines were headed where they are now. There was a gap, timing-wise, between In Your House and what will become SummerSlam TakeOver, and you need a halfway point and a build. This is that halfway point, so it doesn't change our decision-making process. I don't counterbook. I book what's right for NXT. Okay, first of all, there was a gap between the June TakeOver and the TakeOver before SummerSlam for the past few years. All of a sudden, now you care about it? Also, last year, Didn't you put an Evolve special on the WWE Network to counter-program Fight for the Fallen in the middle of July? Don't bullshit me. This isn't even Triple H. This is Vince McMahon's words. This is Triple H saying exactly what Vince McMahon wants him to say, because he can't say that Vince McMahon is trying to counter-program All Elite Wrestling. He can't say that this is Vince McMahon's decision. Why? Because he'll get in deep shit with his boss. He'll get in deep shit with his father-in-law. If NXT wasn't trying to counter-program All Elite Wrestling, then why all of a sudden are you putting on the Great American Bash? And don't give me the excuse it's competition. This is not competition. I've already explained to you the difference between competition and desperation. Competition is when you're working with the resources that you have at your disposal, that you have with your show, and you're building the storylines, the feuds, and the matches around the people that you have and the resources that you have while keeping that aura. Desperation is when you're bringing in other resources from other areas, like the name value of the Great American Bash, or you're bringing in Sasha Banks, or you're bringing in Bayley, because they're main roster stars and they're gaining more traction. That's desperation. And it's clear as day that WWE is desperate. It worked, and it worked, because Great American Bash beat out All Elite Wrestling's Fyter Fest twice. Triple H sounds like an idiot, but this was to be expected, because again, he can't say what needs to be said, because if he did, he would get in deep shit with his boss. His boss, his father-in-law, is clearly scared. His father-in-law is scared, his father-in-law is concerned, his father-in-law wants to monopolize the industry, and his father-in-law wants to kill All Elite Wrestling. So what's happening? They're going to bring back the Great American Bash. They're bringing back the Great American Bash so that way they could draw people away. Fyter Fest was being built over the course of a month, ever since Double or Nothing ended. NXT, they were building towards this shit, but at the end of the day, the name value of the Great American Bash just came within a week before the actual 2-week event started. So at the end of the day, yes, it is because of All Elite Wrestling. Triple H was booking this to counter-program, and Triple H has been booking NXT for the last 9 months to counter-program All Elite Wrestling. That's why he was booking matches like Adam Cole versus Finn Balor and Adam Cole versus Matt Riddle for the NXT Championship. That's why he had Rhea Ripley beat Shayna Baszler. That's why he brought back the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and he put the finals on NXT. He was booking NXT to counter-program All Elite Wrestling, and he was booking it his way because he didn't want Vince McMahon to take over, but Vince McMahon ended up taking over anyway at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair winning, the Drake Maverick situation. Now, the sports entertainment aspect is starting to seep in to NXT. And whether you want to admit it or not, I know my friend Nathan from the UK is watching. Listen, dude, I love you. I appreciate the hell out of you. I am glad that I have you as a friend, and I will take a bullet for you, man. I really would. I really would. But you need to understand, sports entertainment's not pro wrestling, whether you want to admit it or not. Anyone who thinks it is delusional. Sports entertainment is nothing more than a facade, a fake. And I will say it over and over again. It's nothing more than what's the word that I'm looking for? It's nothing more than a made-up term from Vince McMahon used to manipulate people into thinking that it has some type of value in pro wrestling, to make it seem like it has some type of meaning in pro wrestling. Meanwhile, you can find plenty of entertainment like you're seeing with the sports entertainment aspect in a fucking soap opera or a cartoon. You can go watch General Hospital. You can fucking go watch Adventure Time, a regular show. Go on fucking Nick at Night. Watch reruns of Drake and Josh. Please. Moving on to the weekly shows. I need a drink. I swear, I'm gonna have to. I'm like literally just sweating from sitting here. I think I may need to take a shower. Drew McIntyre kicked off Monday Night Raw. And Monday Night Raw, bullshit as usual. Same old stereotypical story. I don't even need to explain it. Drew McIntyre kicked off the show. He told Dolph to come out and tell us the stipulation. Dolph came out He said his stipulation was a secret. And I actually, you know what? I will actually give WWE credit here. Dolph Ziggler is actually being booked smart in this scenario. He's not telling Drew McIntyre the stipulation until the day of because he's working strategically. He's being a strategic heel. So I'll give WWE credit there. Drew says that he embraced the fact that he was fired. Dolph said that Drew was a backstabber and he brought out Heath Slater. Heath said that back then, Drew McIntyre wasn't the chosen one. Now he's the chosen one. He said that when he got released, meaning Drew McIntyre got released, Heath was there for Drew, but Drew was not there for Heath. Slater then slapped Drew and said, "What about now?" As in, give me the match that I want with you. Drew McIntyre said, "You're on." Match begins. Slater got Claymored in 20 seconds for a loss. Ziggler and Slater, they brawled, and Drew came to Slater's aid, and they embraced, and that was it. I'm not going to shit on Heath Slater. I don't think anyone should shit on Heath Slater because the promo was actually very good. The promo felt real. It felt like he was speaking from the heart, and you could really tell that there was real emotion behind the promo. He felt what he was saying. So the promo was not bad. But at the end of the day, whether you want to admit it or not, this is WWE just taking Heath Slater and just throwing it in your face that he was fired. You know what this reminds me of? This honestly reminds me of the Drake Maverick situation, where WWE used Drake Maverick's real-life firing to enhance the Cruiserweight Championship tournament. Leo Rush even tweeted out, "A mockery of real-life firings." This is honestly the same exact shit with Drake Maverick. But it didn't extend over the course of 2 months, and it didn't result in Heath Slater getting a new contract. So at the end of the day, this is just classless, it's tasteless, and it's disgusting. This is WWE just making a mockery out of Heath Slater before he finally leaves. It's WWE using Heath Slater's real-life firing to enhance a storyline that shouldn't even be happening. Dolph Ziggler shouldn't even be getting a WWE Championship match. I'm still asking why Randy Orton isn't getting a WWE Championship match, and he's fighting the Big Show at Extreme Rules. You could have done Randy Orton and McIntyre. Randy Orton's immune to losses. He could take all the losses that he wants, and he'll be fine. And then you could have had Aleister Black at not Survivor Series, SummerSlam against Drew McIntyre. You could have built the storyline then. I already booked that storyline. But no, instead you got to bring back Dolph Ziggler and then bring back Heath Slater. You got to bring back Heath Slater after you put Dolph in a WWE Championship match after he just lost the feud with Otis. You put Dolph in a WWE Championship match and you bring back Heath Slater just to enhance the storyline, just to try and make it somewhat interesting. And some people are trying to say that, I want to see Heath Slater back in the WWE. Really? You want to see Heath Slater back in the WWE after WWE has humiliated him time after time again? Anyway, moving on. Kairi Sane versus Sasha Banks. Yeah, Kairi Sane and Sasha Banks. Didn't think you'd see Kairi Sane again, did you? How long has it been? 2 months since we've seen Kairi Sane? So Sasha Banks and Bayley, they came out to address the crowd. They said they're taking over the whole damn company. Asuka came out. She brought out Kairi Sane. And we got a match between Kairi Sane and Sasha Banks, which is actually a fairly decent match. This is probably the best thing on the show. If you wanted to go back and rewatch something on the show, it would be this. So Banks with a nice backbreaker for a 2. Sane came back with some big chops. Big forearm from the top for a 2. 2 running blockbusters and a big spear. I love Kairi Sane's spear. Sasha, she got hit with the sliding D, but she kicked out, and then she got caught in a modified Boston Crab, which I believe Kairi Sane calls the anchor. Bayley broke it up. We had a big brawl. Asuka held Bayley and Kairi Sane up, which looked stupid, and they were clearly just waiting for Kairi Sane to jump on him. Kairi Sane hit the insane elbow onto both women, and the Kabuki Warriors stand tall. And then afterwards, the Kabuki Warriors actually challenged. They challenged Sasha Banks and Bayley to a women's tag team championship match next week, which they happily accepted. And it is being reported that that is Kairi Sane's last appearance with the company. Goodbye, Kairi. I honestly hope that Ruby, Shayna, and Bianca follow suit with you. KO show. Seth Rollins. So Rollins and Murphy came out. Rollins thanked Owens for having him on the show. Owens gave Rollins a KO Mania shirt. Rollins then challenged Rey Mysterio to a match at Extreme Rules, and he says Owens should fight with him before Rey came out. He accepted Seth Rollins' challenge. He says that Black isn't medically cleared. He was attacked, obviously, by Rollins and Murphy before he came out. So it was supposed to be Rollins and Murphy versus Rey and Black. Owens said that he would be Rey's partner, and the winning team would get to pick the stipulation for the match at Extreme Rules. Murphy and Rollins versus Owens and Mysterio. Decent match, but how many times have we seen it over the course of the last few weeks? Decent match. If it would have gone on a little longer, it would have been great. So, Rollins, he raked Dominic's eyes going into the commercial break. Rollins and Murphy, they were able to isolate Owens before Owens got the hot tag. Rey came in like a house of fire. Rollins then had Dominic, and he was threatening Rey Mysterio by holding Dominic by the neck. He was going to gouge Dominic's eyes out. Before Black's music hit, Black came out. Rollins was on his knees begging for Black to hit him so Rollins could pick the stipulation. The ref was actually caught up with Owens, and he did not see Dominic rake the eyes of Buddy Murphy. Rey Mysterio hit the 619 and a frog splash for the win, and Rey Mysterio says it's going to be an eye for an eye match. He's willing to take it a step further and pull Rollins' eye out of his socket. Now, I already told you how I feel about the entire match itself. I don't understand why they didn't just do a regular no-holds-barred or an Extreme Rules match, and we literally have to sit there and watch two men who could realistically put on a WrestleMania-like main event literally just try and rip each other's eyes out. Stupid. But the first thing that I had in my mind was this is realistically the blow-off match. So why are they doing it at Extreme Rules? I thought they were going to do that at SummerSlam. I had it in my mind that Extreme Rules we were going to see Black, Carrillo, and Mysterio taking on Rollins, Murphy, and Theory. Now, the contract issue with Rey Mysterio, that could have a bearing on why they did this. It could mean that Rey Mysterio could be leaving. They're going to have Seth Rollins win. And Rey Mysterio could possibly go to All Elite Wrestling. That's one reason. Or they could be doing this match specifically here, and they're not doing the six-man tag because of the allegations towards Austin Theory and the speaking out movement. Now, I will be the first to admit I did not go out of my way to research the severity of the allegations towards Austin Theory, mainly because of the fact that I have been insanely busy with all these notes that I'm taking on pro wrestling. On top of that, with my online class, with me working, me busting my ass. I was working on the holiday. I was working on 4th of July. I got a nice hefty holiday paycheck. So I have not gone out of my way to research the severity of these allegations, but apparently it's very, very serious if he's not on Raw. There was actually a report that he's off of Raw, period. So apparently these allegations must be serious. It's either they're serious or he's currently working with the legal team. He's currently working on getting his name cleared, and WWE's just keeping him off television. Either way, I don't know what's going on with Austin Theory right now as far as these speaking out movement allegations. We'll have to wait and see. But those are the two reasons why I do believe that this match is happening now as opposed to SummerSlam. It was announced that Apollo Crews will be taking on MVP at Extreme Rules for the United States Championship. So MVP and Bobby Lashley, they came out. MVP says that he wishes he could feel guilty, but he doesn't. Says that when you disrespect MVP, you disrespect Bobby Lashley. They then revealed a new United States Championship, which I actually thought was beautiful. I'm not going to lie. It really does bring back a vibe from the classic WCW United States Championship. But, you're revealing it without the actual United States champion. It really does go to show you that WWE is really just looking to erase everything that Paul Heyman did with Apollo Crews. So Ricochet and Cedric Alexander, they came out. They attacked the two. We had an impromptu tag team match. MVP looking stupid as hell, wrestling in a suit. I didn't even take any notes on this match. All I know is that Bobby Lashley won with a spear to Cedric. And that was that. Now, I have a question here. Well, first things first. I don't mind the pairing between MVP and Bobby Lashley. I actually think that the pairing is actually a very good pairing. I actually think that MVP is great on the microphone, and he's been playing his role very well. Bobby Lashley has actually had some pretty decent performances in the last few weeks. He had a great match with Drew McIntyre at Backlash. He had a fairly decent performance against Ricochet last week. So Bobby Lashley's not bad when they allow him to go out there and wrestle. Now, I still don't want to see him in any championship matches, nor should he be in any title matches, nor should he be winning any title matches, regardless of whether he's being booked correctly now or not. I like the partnership, and, MVP has definitely been making Bobby Lashley a little bit better. But here's my question. Why is MVP, the manager, getting a United States title match over Bobby Lashley, the client? Why is MVP still competing in the ring and he's getting a championship title match push over Bianca, Shayna, Ruby, Ricochet, Cedric, Mustafa, Cesaro, Nakamura? You know what I mean. Buddy Murphy, Shelton Benjamin. Why is MVP in 2020 in a prominent championship title program? Why is MVP being pushed in a title program over Lashley? Bobby Lashley should not be in any title matches, but I would much rather see Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews for the U.S. title. Because at least they have the potential to put on a decent match. MVP is way too fucking standard. Now, for all we know, Bobby Lashley and Apollo Crews could very well end up fighting for the U.S. title. We could see MVP lose at Extreme Rules, and we could see Bobby Lashley and Apollo Crews at SummerSlam for the United States Championship. I'd be shocked if Apollo Crews makes it out of Extreme Rules with the U.S. title. We'll find out. But again, I don't get it. Why is MVP being pushed in the title program over Bobby Lashley if MVP is the manager and Bobby Lashley is the client? Completely backwards. Big show in the Viking Raiders versus Randy Orton, Andrade, and Angel Garza. The only notes that I took about this is that Orton had a very nice confrontation with Angel Garza. He was grabbing him by the throat saying, listen, I have a deep respect for you because you're just like me. We share the same family heritage. You're a second-generation superstar, but you need to pull your head out of your ass. I love that little moment there with Orton and Garza. All I know is that Randy Orton won with an RKO to Eric. Match with the Big Show at Extreme Rules is coming. Ruby Riott versus Billie Kay. Billie Kay won with a sit-out spine buster, which she botched. She botched. The Iconics are detriments to the women's division. And anyone who supports them, I have absolutely no respect for you. You are detriments to society, you are detriments to the community, and you're a detriment to yourself. No respect for you whatsoever. I don't even want to discuss anything related to the Iconics anymore. Thankfully, they weren't on SmackDown. Sasha Banks. She accepted the Kabuki Warriors challenge for a women's tag team title match next week. That match was made. Bayley and Asuka. This is actually a fairly good match. I didn't mind it, but at the end of the day, I do not like the fact that champions are losing time and time again on WWE's main roster program. Champions lose way too much. And WWE wonders why no one's over in the way that they want them to be. They always take away the specialness of everyone. It's ridiculous. It's so stereotypical. It pisses me off. A vein's gonna be popping in my head very, very soon. I don't even want to discuss what happened in the match, to be quite honest with you. I don't even want to discuss what happened in the match because, quite frankly, it doesn't even matter. Asuka won. Decent match. Asuka won. Nikki Cross was on commentary, and then she came back after she was removed. Obviously building towards the match between Nikki and Bayley. Nikki Cross is AIDS in the position that she's in right now. That was Monday Night Raw. Moving on to AEW Dark. Realistically, AEW Dark wasn't really that special either. I mean, it did enhance a lot of win-loss records, but outside of the last two matches, AEW Dark wasn't anything special either. And I've made that very, very clear. Brian Pillman Jr. faced off against Shawn Spears. I really expected a lot more from this match. I'm not even going to lie. This match only went 5 minutes. I really expected a lot more. People were hyping up Brian Pillman Jr. to be a really big deal. He was great in MLW, but he didn't really do too much. Didn't really do too much in this match. Wasn't really on on the offensive, wasn't really on the offensive side very much. It was mainly Shawn Spears on the offense. Shawn Spears won with a C4. Where they're going with Shawn Spears, I don't know. I hope it's an eventual TNT Championship reign. Big Swole versus Ricochet Chanel. Big Swole with a barrage of clotheslines, big headbutt, back elbow out of the corner, sit out Blue Thunder Bomb, Dirty Dancing with a punt kick for the win. Big Swole, she is great. I've told you time and time again, I'm a huge advocate for Big Swole. Love the charisma, love the intensity, and I cannot wait until Big Swole faces off against the Kadoshida, which I hope is happening at All Out, because I do really want to see a match between those two. Frankie Kazarian versus Luther. This match was garbage. It was terrible. Luther is a complete waste of a wrestler. I don't even know why they hired him, other than the fact that he's Chris Jericho's friend. He's just been used as an enhancement talent. Frankie Kazarian, he gets the win with a victory roll. That's pretty much it. It was pretty much used to enhance Frankie Kazarian's win-loss record. Tony Donati, Fabu Andre, Brady Pierce, and Joe Alonzo versus the Lucha Bros, the Butcher and the Blade. Very academic 8-man tag team match right here. The Lucha Bros and Butcher and Blade won with a powerbomb full death combo into a double stomp on Joe Alonzo. Lucha Bros look great. As always, the Butcher and the Blade, they're really coming along, and I'm very, very glad they're getting a major spotlight. I'm glad they got a major spotlight at Fyter Fest. I'm glad they got a major win at Fyter Fest as well. And if they want to continue to push the Butcher and the Blade in this type of role, I wouldn't mind them, because whenever they're put against tag teams, they actually put on very good matches. Legit tag teams, not enhancement tag teams. Will Hobbs versus Orange Cassidy. Superman forearm for the win in 15 seconds going into Orange Cassidy's match with Chris Jericho, and that was it. Michael Nakazawa versus Shawn Dean. Nakazawa is one of the worst wrestlers I think I've ever seen. He is garbage outside of the spear that he delivers. I don't even know why he's on AEW programming, period. Matter of fact, the only reason why I think he's on AEW programming is simply because of the fact that they have a limited roster and they can't build AEW Dark like they used to because of what's going on with the pandemic, so they're just using it to enhance people's records. And that's pretty much that. Serpentico versus Scorpio Sky. This was a damn good fucking match. If you want to go back and rewatch it, please do. Now, Scorpio Sky, he's great as per usual. Scorpio Sky is great. We all know that. Scorpio Sky is a future TNT champion, future world champion, but Serpentico was the star of this match. Serpentico had his best match in AEW to date, and it says a lot that Scorpio Sky was the one that was able to bring Serpentico to his best match in AEW to date. This was a damn good match. Serpentico looked great here, and I would honestly not mind if they signed Serpentico, because Serpentico is doing some great stuff. So, Sky with a Russian leg sweep for a 2. Serpentico with a nice head scissor takedown, super kick to the gut, and he tossed Sky into the barricade. Swift single leg dropkick by Serpentico. I love the single leg dropkick by Serpentico. He's very, very fluid. Sky with a big brain buster. Big knee right to the head. Roll through neck breaker for a 2. Enziguri and a slingshot foot stomp by Serpentico. Serpentico with the rising knee, but Sky caught him with a TKO for the win in a damn good match. I loved it. I think that Serpentico really had a breakout performance right here. Scorpio Sky, let me tell you something. If Scorpio Sky keeps this up, Scorpio Sky could very well be the guy that ends up surpassing Darby Allin and Shawn Spears and everyone in terms of taking the TNT Championship off of Cody. I would love to see Scorpio Sky as TNT Champion. I wouldn't even mind if Cody loses the TNT Championship to Scorpio Sky in one of these open challenges. If he wants to lose it to Scorpio Sky at All Out, I definitely wouldn't mind that. I think that would be great. I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. Dark Order versus Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler. This was actually a very good tag team match right here, and the Dark Order, they're looking very, very nice. I believe they're in the number 1 ranked position, and I do believe that the Dark Order should be the team to take the title off of Kenny and Heyman, and I'm going to stick by that. I've said it time and time again. We had some swift double team moves by Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon. They're actually starting to come together as a tag team. Initially, I thought that we were going to see a one-on-one match between Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon, and it was going to result in one of them eventually getting a win. But apparently, they're coming together as a tag team now, and week by week, they're actually getting better and better. They're actually going forth with this tag team idea. They actually shook hands last week on Dark. So if that's the case, and they're getting better and better, and they're getting closer and closer to getting a win week by week, and they're becoming more fluid in the ring, you know what? If this is going to happen, I wouldn't mind seeing them as a permanent tag team. And you know what? It could very well result in them getting a win, and they could be like an underdog babyface tag team. They can get up, they can gain more wins, get up in the rankings, and we could very well see Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon as a nice little underdog babyface storyline. I definitely wouldn't mind that. It could probably be the best thing for both of them. Because they're actually they're two very good wrestlers. So we had a very big spinning Uranagi by Grayson on Cutler. I love the spinning Uranagi that Grayson delivers. Such force on that. Big crossbody on Grayson. Tag to Cutler. Crossbody to Evil Uno. Drop kicks to both men. Peter Avalon came in like a house of fire. Peter Avalon, he's actually very, very good in the ring. When he's given the opportunity, Peter Avalon's actually a very good professional wrestler. We had the Dark Order getting in Leiva's face before Cutler with a Swanton Bomb onto the pile. Big swinging DDT by Avalon and a springboard elbow for a 2. Double Pele kick on Avalon and Cutler. Liger Bomb on Avalon, and then Grayson with the Nightfall for the win. And the Dark Order get the victory. Very good tag team match right here. Peter Avalon, Brandon Cutler slowly starting to come together. I'm actually liking them as a tag team, so I will keep them together. We'll see where it goes. But realistically, outside of this tag team match and outside of Serpentico and Scorpio Sky, another skippable edition of AEW Dark. Nothing that you're going to go back and rewatch. Very boring at times, but the last 2 matches definitely worth your time. Speaking of not being worth your time, SmackDown. There was not one single redeeming quality about SmackDown. Not one. So much so that I was scrolling through Twitter, because of course I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw the same thing over and over and over again. I saw person after person after person saying that this SmackDown was the worst SmackDown of 2020. And you know something? I do not deny that whatsoever. I am in the same boat as you. This was undoubtedly the worst SmackDown of 2020, and I think we can all agree on that. And I'm telling you right now, I don't think anyone is going to care, no matter who you are, as a podcaster, as a YouTuber, a content creator, no matter who you are, an internet persona, no matter who you are, I don't think anyone is going to care if you don't talk about SmackDown at all. Raw and SmackDown, realistically. I think like if all content creators just stop talking about SmackDown, I don't think anyone would care. I really don't think anyone would care. I'm telling you right now, I say this all the time, sorry. I say this all the time, I really do. But I really am this close. I say it all the time. You guys are probably laughing at me. I say this all the time, but I'm telling you, I'm this close. You see that? This close. I am this close to just completely cutting out Raw and SmackDown from the Lightning Flash update. I mean, I'm not doing NXT and I'm not doing Dynamite this week because I did 2 separate rewinds because they were pretty much pay-per-views on their respective channels. But I am like this close to just cutting out Raw and SmackDown. I really don't give a shit, and I'm just gonna do reviews and rundowns, rewinds and rundowns on the pay-per-views. I'm this close. Miz and Morrison, they kicked off the show with Miz TV. They introduced Jeff Hardy. They rolled a video package of Jeff and Sheamus' rivalry up to this point, mocking Jeff Hardy's personal demons, blah, 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 blah. What was said was completely irrelevant. Miz said that you should challenge Sheamus to a bar fight, and apparently Jeff said, hey, I accept Sheamus' challenge, and then he attacked both men. Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. Hardy won with a roll-up. After Sheamus came up on the Titantron, Miz tried to take advantage, but Hardy rolled him up. Hardy got a victory over The Miz. Hardy's got 2 wins now. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, I wasn't one of those people that was complaining about them using Jeff Hardy's real-life struggles against him in this storyline with Sheamus. But after Backlash, it just became so fucking repetitive. It's just so fucking... It's the same thing over and over and over again. You know how I see some people on Twitter say that Seth Rollins comes out every single week and cuts the same promo over and over and over again. It's literally the same thing every week with Jeff Hardy here. Jeff Hardy's a junkie. Jeff Hardy's an alcoholic. Jeff Hardy's an abuser. Jeff Hardy's a failure. Every single time. It's grown tiresome. How many more times can you say the same fucking thing over and over again before people are going to get tired of it? It's ridiculous. Every single time, over and over and over again. We get it! To be quite honest, I was okay with that at first, but now, realistically speaking, this is just WWE just embarrassing Jeff Hardy and just shoving it in his face that he has all of these problems out of pettiness, just because his brother Matt is in All Elite Wrestling. And WWE, they've done this numerous amounts of times. If you have a husband or a wife or a brother or a sister or a father or a mother that was in the business and they have beef with WWE, then you're going to be the victim. You're going to be the victim of their poor treatment. WWE, they had the New Day break Demolition's record because Demolition was going through a lawsuit with WWE at the time. They had Nikki Bella break AJ Lee's record because of pettiness towards CM Punk, because AJ Lee was married to CM Punk. So at the end of the day, this is just WWE being petty towards Jeff Hardy because his brother Matt said, "Fuck you, WWE," and he went to All Elite Wrestling. To be quite honest, I wouldn't even mind if Jeff Hardy leaves. It's grown tiresome. It's grown old. It's grown so stereotypical. I'm sick of hearing it, and a lot of people are sick of seeing it. Jeff Hardy and Sheamus, all I can hope for is that Jeff Hardy wins, and we move on from this. So Bayley and Sasha were making their entrance before Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss attacked them right out of the gate going into commercial. We had a tag team match, apparently, between these two. Pardon me, because I did not watch this tag team match. You know, where was I? I went to take a shit. I had a really big dinner on Thursday night. I had honey glazed chicken on the grill. Grilled to perfection. It was beautiful. Honey glazed with sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce. And I had some Alfredo noodles as well. Alfredo pasta, and honey glazed chicken. It was great. It was amazing. Then I had a nice big piece of Italian bread as well. I had a tall glass of ginger ale. It was a great dinner. And I went to take a shit during this match. And it was very, very satisfying. I took my sweet ass time taking that shit. And I came back. All I saw was the last 45 seconds of the match where Bayley got her foot on the ropes to pin Nikki Cross. I couldn't have been a happier man. Nice shit that I took, and I missed the entire matchup outside of 45 seconds. That was it. Awesome stuff right there. So then they replayed Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt from Money in the Bank. I don't give a shit. I'm going to point this out right now. I don't give a shit whether there's a pandemic going on. I don't give a shit whether you are working with a limited roster. I don't give a shit how many people tested positive for COVID. I don't give a shit if there's a clusterfuck behind the scenes or not. Playing Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt for Money in the Bank is pure laziness. It's lazy. Whether you want to admit it or not, I don't give a shit what's going on. Whether you have the positive COVID tests, a limited roster, a clusterfuck backstage, or a pandemic, whatever. I don't care. It's lazy. Lazy! Then we had a fucking karaoke showdown between Lacey Evans, Naomi, Dana Brooke, and Tamina! Jey Uso was the supervisor. I had my head buried in my phone for the majority of this, but I heard the songs that they were singing. All I took down was the songs that they were singing. That's all, because I heard it. I did not see it I was on my phone surfing through all my social medias, making sure I was up to date. I was promoting the Lightning Flash update for today. I was doing anything but watching this. To be quite honest, I was actually hoping that I would have to take another shit so I wouldn't have to watch, so I wouldn't have to sit through it. Lacey Evans sang "With My Baby Tonight" by Road Dogg. Dana Brooks sang the Honky Tonk Man's theme. Tamina sang Triple H's theme, and Naomi sang Dusty Rhodes' theme. Naomi won due to applause. Lacey Evans shoved down Naomi. We got a match afterwards while they're still in street clothes. And then Tamina and Dana Brooke got involved and the match was thrown out. But yet there's people that want Evolution too! My throat is killing me right now. Not even this water can help. I feel so bad for Naomi. I'm telling you right now, Naomi, hands down, is one of the most underrated female performers that they have in the WWE, subjected to this. Doing karaoke with 3 complete wastes of spaces in the women's division. 3 women that should have honestly been terminated on Black Wednesday, if I'm going to be quite honest. Naomi, I am telling you, the treatment of Naomi is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. It is appalling. Naomi and her treatment, ever since she initially lost her second SmackDown Live Women's Championship, has been disgusting. Naomi is someone you can build a brand around. Naomi is someone that you can put at the forefront. Naomi, when you put her in the ring with someone that can actually wrestle, with someone that can actually perform, you can bet your ass she's going to give you a damn good match. But no, you're going to put her with Lacey Evans. You're going to have Lacey Evans and her fight in a worthless 2-minute match while she's still in street clothes. Lacey Evans is in a dress. She'll be low. You know, I was surprised that they didn't go forth with a 10-minute match and risk Lacey Evans ripping her dress and having the biggest wardrobe malfunction on SmackDown. I'm pretty sure all the people, I'm pretty sure everyone, all the guys, I'm pretty sure all the 30-year-old people that have beards down to here and barbecue sauce stained t-shirts, I'm pretty sure they would have loved to see a Lacey Evans wardrobe malfunction. And I don't even like Lacey Evans, and I'm telling you that this was a waste of time for her. Naomi, I'm telling you right now, a lot of people, I actually saw some of my friends and fans saying, when's Naomi's contract up? Naomi should go to All Elite Wrestling as well. You know what? I wouldn't even mind that. I would love to see Naomi put on a great match with Hikaru Shida or Penelope Ford or Big Swole or even Nyla Rose. I think Naomi could bring Nyla Rose to a decent match. Because Naomi is actually an athletic performer. I'm telling you, if I was Naomi, I would just say fuck it. I don't even care if you're married to Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso's out with an injury. Jimmy Uso's not coming back anytime soon. There's literally no reason for you there. WWE never respected you to begin with, so why should you respect them, Naomi? Just leave. And don't even get me started on WWE announcing AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle for the Intercontinental Championship next week. Why did you announce it for next week? Why is it that you're just giving away these matches on free television? You gave away Styles and Bryan on free television. You gave away Styles and Matt Riddle already once on free television. You gave away Styles' first title defense against Gulak on free television. Now we're going to get Styles and Matt Riddle. And Styles isn't even going to defend the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules, more likely than not. I don't understand. I don't understand this. Matt Riddle should realistically be the guy to take the title off of Styles at the end of the year. Why are you putting Matt Riddle in an Intercontinental Championship match after just 2 matches? You're not building him up. You're not making him feel legitimate. It's a stereotypical WWE route. Now you're putting 2 men in a situation where neither man should be on the losing end, but more likely than not, you're probably going to have Baron Corbin swoop in. He's going to cost Matt Riddle. Styles is going to retain. Riddle's already going to have a loss after 3 matches on the main roster, and we're probably going to get Baron Corbin and Matt Riddle at Extreme Rules. Fantabulous! I just want to crack. I just want to crack my head open on this table. I don't care. I will literally go over to that granite thing right there, and just. I don't care. I will do it. And don't even the main event. Don't even get me started on the main event. Why did you book a SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match between Cesaro and the New Day if it's just Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the New Day, if it's just going to end via DQ? I don't understand why you got to waste 12 minutes. You wasted 12 to 13 minutes between these four individuals just to have it end via DQ to set up another match at the horror show at Extreme Rules, where Cesaro and Nakamura are going to have to fight the New Day with a stipulation. Probably just going to be a tornado tag team match. Probably going to be a tornado tag team tables match. Why not just book the match with the stipulation at Extreme Rules from the get-go? Why do you need to waste 13 minutes in the main event of SmackDown and then have a brawl at the end just to put Cesaro on the top rope, put Biggie on a table, and have Cesaro powerbomb Kofi Kingston onto Biggie through a table? Why not just make the match at Extreme Rules to begin with? Kingston got launched into an uppercut by Cesaro going into commercial. Biggie got the hot tag. It was actually some decent wrestling, but at the end of the day, how special is it going to be now that we've seen it twice? Once it ended via DQ, once Cesaro and Shinsuke already beat the New Day, and now we're going to see it at Extreme Rules for a third time within a month. Belly to belly, he missed the splash. New Day with the double stomp powerbomb combo. Nakamura broke things up. All four men started brawling and the match was thrown out. Table was brought in. Biggie was placed on the table. Cesaro with a powerbomb to Kofi onto Biggie through the table. And Cesaro and Nakamura stand tall. Again, why book the match if it's just going to end via DQ just to set up a match at Extreme Rules? It's such a stereotypical ass-backwards WWE route. Just book the match initially out of the gate. Book the match at Extreme Rules. Book the match at the pay-per-view to begin with. Book the fucking match at the pay-per-view to begin with. Book the stipulation. And then just do it then. No reason to do another match between the two. No reason to do a second match on television just to have it end via DQ. Regardless, this ends with Cesaro and Nakamura winning the tag team titles. It has to. It has to end with Cesaro and Nakamura winning the tag team titles. Oh, Jesus Christ. 205 Live, if you even care. If anyone cares about 205 Live. I actually do. And 205 Live is actually very good when you're actually given matches that will impress. And we didn't really have many matches that impressed here. There were a couple of good things on the show. This was mainly a showcase show. This was mainly a showcase show for Mansoor and for Santos Escobar. Mansoor faced off against Tahuti Miles. Mansoor is actually very, very good. Mansoor is getting better every time that we see him. We had Mansoor with the slingshot neck breaker for a 2. Moonsault missed. We had a flapjack by Tahuti. Enziguri by Mansoor. And Mansoor with an electric chair. It looked like he was setting up for a one-winged angel, but he actually did not drop Tahuti into a Meishinuku driver. He dropped him into a Death Valley driver. So electric chair, Death Valley driver for the win. Mansoor looks great. Mansoor is doing some very good stuff. And I would not mind seeing Mansoor in a championship title picture. I think that Mansoor has improved and he's come along very, very nicely. Showcase match, nothing more for Mansoor. Main event was decent. Main event was Santos Escobar versus Oney Lorcan. This really wasn't anything special. Very standard for both men. But I do want to point out one thing here. Escobar, he targeted the arm of Lorcan. Lorcan was not 100% after his match with Timothy Thatcher. Lorcan got cut off by Escobar on the top. Escobar went right after the arm again. Oney came back with the chops, cleaning uppercut, and a big running blockbuster. Then we had Escobar cut off Oney Lorcan after Oney Lorcan went for another big move, and he hit the Phantom Driver for the win. Escobar, notice how he won clean. And I love that. I love that Escobar won clean. Really does show you that Triple H knows how to book champions. He knows how to make champions look legit. He's been booking champions on NXT, and he's been booking champions on 205 Live. He runs both those shows. Santos Escobar, he did not need the help of Wilde and Mendoza. Escobar has been winning clean. Every single time we see Santos Escobar, he wins clean. That's what I love, and that's what champions should be. And that was pretty much that. That was 205 Live. Ladies and gentlemen, you stayed with me this long. 40 minutes less than usual, so thankfully I'm getting out of here at a decent time. I'm getting out of here before we reach 90 minutes. And that's been this edition of the LFU. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. My throat's killing me. I'm going to go eat some lunch. I got to go check my schedule. I got to modify my schedule. I got to make the plans. Got a lot of plans to put forth for the coming weeks. All right? 4 videos. Got an online class. Got an exam. Got plenty to focus on. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Please check out all the links in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. Watch all 4 rewinds that I've done on Night 1 and 2 of Great American Bash and Night 1 and 2 of Fyter Fest. I will catch you guys next Monday for the rundown for Extreme Rules. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. Again, oh my God. The shit that I do for you guys. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good one. Have a great weekend.